Do you maintain that all arguments that conclude in the existence of God are God of the gaps? That's the first part. What is the difference between a deductive argument concluding in God's existence and a God of the gaps argument? Those are kind of the same thing. What's the difference between a God of the gaps argument and a deductive argument that has an inference that God exists?
Well, they're actually pretty close. They're actually pretty close. First of all, I think the first part of that question is most of it is God of the gaps.
So you're saying that all the arguments that is used in classical theism, such as the ones that Frank mentioned, are God of the gaps.
Well,
I think that's what
ontological, the refutation for the ontological argument is not God of the gaps.
Well, let's just go with the ones that were mentioned, the cosmological, moral, and teleological.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're saying the deductive and the God of the gaps arguments are almost the same.
In order to deduce the existence of God logically, of a God logically, we would have to have a basis. We would have to have a reason to suspect that something that disobeys all known laws of physics exists. Now, we don't have any evidence of anything that disobeys any of the laws of physics that supposed God has. This God supposedly has a whole bunch: omniscience, timelessness, spacelessness, all-powerful. Where does that power come from? We don't have any basis to make the decision that something like that is possible. So to deduce that is not possible. It's all God of the gaps.
Okay.
Hang on.
Follow up.
First of all, the argument, say the cosmological argument is it is a deductive argument. The argument says whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe had a cause. Now you need to challenge one of the first two premises to refute that argument. By the way, that is a religiously neutral argument. It simply says whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. Then we take our reasoning and our philosophical ability to say, okay, if the universe had a cause, what would be the attributes of this cause? We're reasoning from effect to cause. But if those two premises are true, that argument logically and necessarily follows.
No, it does not. It does not follow, because you're positing a being that breaks all known laws of physics. You're going back to where we don't know, and you're saying, I don't know, therefore God did it. That's what the God of the gaps argument is.
David, you don't understand the difference between a deductive argument and the implications of the argument.
Oh, okay? Please enlighten me.
The deductive argument is what I just said, those two premises and a conclusion, okay? Now, the implications of the argument is where we go to try and figure out, okay, what caused the universe? And if space, matter, and time had a beginning, which is what all the evidence shows at this point. In fact, Valenkin just did a paper.
But there is no evidence at all that space, matter, and time had a beginning that was caused by a conscious entity. You are imposing that. It becomes, you said it was a religiously neutral argument, yes, and you're right, until you say, I don't know, therefore God did it. Frank, there is nobody on the planet that knows what happened before the Big Bang.
Okay,
you don't know, I don't know.
Hold on.
Nobody.
Why aren't you an agnostic?
Why aren't I an agnostic?
Yeah, you say nobody knows.
Are you changing the subject right now?
No. You said, I don't know. Why aren't you an agnostic? Is there no organization that says AmericanAgnostics.org or what?
Agnosticism is a form of atheism. And knowledge is a relative term. And as I said in my slides, one of the tricks that theism uses is to assume that in order for you to say no, that you have to have complete knowledge. It's a word trick.
No, I agree with you. You don't,
all right, we gotta go.
You don't have to have complete knowledge. I agree with you. But that deductive argument is religiously neutral. What you do with the implications
is a religious argument.
No, it is a philosophical argument that if space, matter, and time had a beginning.
It
has religious implications, but it's not a religious argument.